Hey guys, welcome back. In this class, we're going to see a real-life application of nested functions. And we're going to go over as well many other things that we have seen through this course. So that will be a good time to recap everything we learned and learn some good best practice as well as we go. So what this application will do is create to calculate the bonus of employees of a company. So let's start build and see how we make use of nested functions here. So I will create some dictionaries with the details of each employer. So let's say will be name. In this case will be Bob. Then the salary for Bob will be 100,000. And his position is going to be developer. Now, first good practice we're gonna learn here is see how I'm using these keys from the dictionary. Remember, this is the key and this is the value, and I'm using strings. Let's think if I type wrong here, type position with aim and type it wrong, and that wouldn't work anymore. So it's not a good idea to use strings like this. What we normally do is we can create a struct, or we can just create some constants. Let's say name equals name, let salary equals salary, and let position equals position. And you're gonna say it looks very redundant, it's just the same word. But the thing is, now I'll delete this to show you when I'm typing, the autocomplete is gonna help me, and I can just put it there. And if I go here in position and try to type position with aim, you're gonna see it's gonna give me an error. So I won't mistype by mistake anything. Okay? And developer is gonna be a key we're gonna be using as well. So I'm gonna create some more constants here for developer. It's gonna be developer. And also I could use lowercase here and uppercase here. That would be different when we're comparing. So it's very important to do this. Let manager equals manager, and let technician equals technician. And I actually, on top of this, I'm gonna put an example what happened when we see that's already telling me it's wrong. It should be lowercase. Okay, so this is my first dictionary. I'll create another 4. So I'll create Bob, Mary, John, and Chris. So this name is gonna be Mary, this name is gonna be John, and here it's gonna be Chris. And then the salary, so for Mary should be a manager, she'll get 120. John, let's say he gets 50, and 50, and here he is a technician, and here I'm gonna try type technician again. Technician. See, I know I type it wrong, but I want to show you what happens if you try to type all the time. Okay, now we have this. I'm gonna create an array. Let employees equals, and that's going to be an array with all these dictionaries, so it's an array of dictionary. Right, so now what I want to do is create a function that is a nested function, where what's going to happen is I'm going to send in what is the position of that person, and the function will return me the right function to use for each position. Okay, so let's create func. Let's call it calculate bonus, and of course we're going to receive a position. It's going to be a string. So now we're going to be returning a function, right? And the signature of this function will be, as a parameter, we're going to be receiving a string, and the return for this function is going to be a tuple. So that's why I'm putting brackets here, okay? Double and string. Remember, if it wasn't a tuple, if it was just a double, would be like this. No parentheses. The parenthesis is only because it's a tuple. And the reason I'm using a tuple here is just I want to show you an example where returning a tuple. Now that's great. I need to create the functions now to return. So func calc developer bonus. So I have to match this signature here. So it has to be, let's call name. It's going to be string. And it's going to be returning this tuple here, double and string. Let's give it a space. Right, so what we're going to return here is something simple. We're just going to return. So the bonus for developer, let's say, be 5%. So that's the double. And the string is going to be name. And then for developer, say, you are fundamental part of this company. Thank you for your great work this year. And close. So this is all that this function will do. And it seems we are missing something here. Oh, sorry, I put it a comma here, should be done. Now we're gonna create other two functions like that. One is going to be the calculate manager bonus and calculation bonus. And then for the manager, the manager is gonna get 80%, and we're gonna say name. Let's say for the manager, your leadership was a necessary eval this year. Thank you. Because nobody really like managers, do we? And the technician is just gonna get a 3%, and we're just gonna say to them, thank you for your great work this year. That's all. Now, what we're gonna do with this is we're gonna select, depending on the position we receive, we're gonna select one of these functions to return. So that's a great place to use a switch. So switch, position. Now let's using, of course, the constants we have here, developer. So if we pass in this value, remember this is string, and then when we compare here, if it's this value, we're gonna return calc developer bonus, and remember here it's just the name of the function. Now we're gonna repeat this twice for a developer, manager, and of course calc manager bonus, and technician, and then calc technician bonus. Now default, we need to return something. If you can see, if I put a break here, it's gonna give an error because we have to return something, and we should, because if it's none of this, it shouldn't just not do anything. We should know something went wrong. So let's create a function. Let's call error, and it has to have the same signature than all these other ones. So I'm gonna copy this, and we're gonna return, and I just say the value will be 0, and we're gonna say error for employer, employee, and then name, and say position. Your errors have always to be very descriptive, so we know what is wrong in the code. It's not part of the positions available. So if we see this error, it will be very easy to know. We know what the employer was, the error, and why was wrong. What's the position that's giving the error? So now let's return error. So we have our nested applications figured it out. Now we can go here and loop to all the employers and get the bonus and get the message. We know for this case what's the best loop to use is a for, because we want to loop to the all array. So we're going to say employee and employees. Now what we're going to do is say let bonus equals, and then we're going to call calculate bonus, and remember the value of this bonus will be one of these functions. And now we're going to pass employee and the position. Now this position, when we're doing this, Swift doesn't know if this is actually going to return something, and we have to send something. So we must tell Xcode, I know there's a value there, and to do this we use what's called unwrap. So we just unwrap that value and force it, say Xcode don't need to give me any warning, I know what I'm doing here. It can go ahead, will always return a value. So okay, with that, now we have in bonus, we have this function, one of these functions. Now we know the format of the function is going to return a tuple. So let's create a tuple here, and it's going to be the value of the percentage and the message. So let's call percentage message. And that's going to be equals bonus and then employee name. Again, Xcode doesn't know if something will return. We have to unwrap it. Now we have our message and we have our percentage. We can just go ahead and print. Now we're gonna say we're gonna print the message. And on top of that, we're gonna say your bonus is. And now we're gonna create a multiplication here of the employee salary, and you can see how this constant is coming very handy. However, the employee salary is a string. Okay, this is a string, and I put it as a string because I want us to see casting again. So I could put it like that, and that would be a double, but that would make our job too easy. So that's a string. We have to cast this string to a double. So now, again, we have to unwrap and say employee salary. I know it exists. And for the double, we have to do the same thing because Xcode will say, well, I'm not sure if this double actually has a value because it could be the letter A like this, and then, well, I can't cast A to be a double, right? So we're gonna go ahead here and say, yes, this double is gonna work, and we're gonna multiply this by the percentage. And now we have here our final message. So Bob, your fundamental for this company, thank you for your great work this year. Your bonus is 5,000. And all this, and here we can see create error for employer class position technician. It's not part of, so okay. I typed that wrong. Then I can easily see the error, come here and fix. Okay, and then of course it all going to work. Now I will leave the error here on the code, so when you study this code you will remember to always use constants like this. But we could create a structure here. I just want to keep it simple, and this is how we use it. And why we did like this, we could have else here and return different things, but let's imagine there is more things inside here and I have to add more types of positions. This just make the code clean, easy to maintain, and we can just, use for different place, get different functions and call the functions as we need. Now, other place that a lot of people has doubts is about, well, this is a constant. How are we changing this? Well, this constant is valid until it hits here. So I create a bonus, I hit here, this variable and these two variables goes away. So when I pass on the second time, it doesn't exist anymore. It's creating a new constant. So this is the scope, what is called. So when we run the first time, these two variables exist until here. When we get to the for again, they don't exist. So this is why I could use let here, instead use a var. If I was going to read this variable again, down here, then it's still on the same scope, and you say, look, you need to change the let to a var to make it mutable so I can change. But then when it's on the second turn, this variable doesn't exist, and that's why this is a let and not a var. Okay, I hope you guys had enjoyed this class, and if you have any questions about what we see here, just let me know and I'll help you out to solve it. And I'll see you on the next lecture.